I'm also over our heads. It's been a while. I'm Ash. We've got Josh. We've got Ben, and we've got Mr. Short King himself, Short Prince himself, Alex. No, come on. It's the Short Prince. It's Short End. Short Prince of Bag End.
Say hi, Alex.
Hello, boys. It is the Short Prince of Trash coming off a very good weekend.
Yeah, very good 2 months, really.
Very good
smashing.
season. Very good year.
A good addition, we'll say.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. Now, come on, Alex. Tell us about it. Come on, start with Hellstorm.
Start with, first of all, I obviously third at LGT this weekend just gone, which was fucking insane.
Yeah.
I wanted to go 5-0 going in. We did the sweepstake on Friday night and I backed myself. I said I'm going to get the 5-0. And no one believed in me, but I thought this is the tournament to do it, and I managed it. And then I got lucky with round 6, lucky with a bye, and fucking lost to Liam VSL. So can't complain.
What the truth of the matter is, Manny was just scared to play you. That's why he dropped.
100%. He saw how badly I wrecked the Demons on Sunday night, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't want it."
Oh no, I've got work.
Yeah. His work is playing Warhammer. Oh,
It's not like when you believe in you. I just take my betting very seriously.
No, I said I didn't go to got through thing, but I did put in that everyone's going to go through to Alex number 5-0. That's what I messaged.
My boy.
I did message you. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
I'll find it. I'll prove it.
I remember the message.
Shh. He remembers.
No. Alex, you got to understand that this podcast is basically rip Ash.
Okay.
I don't think
Well, I'll rip him for not. I can't rip him too hard though, because it was his ticket. So really,
it was actually
Ash got
Scottish
third.
third.
Yeah, you think you was just finished paying my pot. I walked so Alex could ruin.
Yeah, I mean you're right, mate. You're right.
But yeah, we'll go with that.
So talk us through the your games.
Talk us through
Tell
the
us your
games. All right, cool. Well, obviously London, the parents come out on the Wednesday. And
Yeah.
I saw I had Blood Angels, which historically is a game I lose. I lost to Alex Harrison. I knew that the guy I was playing wasn't Alex Harrison, so I was a little bit more confident. But still, I felt the wrath of 20 Van Vets before, because 20 Van Vets just one-shot Magnus. That they don't give a fuck. They just kill him. And so I was quite rightly quite worried going in, because I did not want to lose Magnus when I don't need to, and lose the game and ruin my run. I didn't have time though to set up and start practicing a TTS deployment and my game plan, and so I got my good friend Berry to bring his laptop, and we were up until like 1 o'clock setting up the deployment, and I was figuring out what I needed to do, and I executed the plan to perfection, thankfully. Let's have a look. I think I went second on Terraform. He didn't go forwards turn 1. I popped Terraform turn 1. I crystalled, killed a load of his shit, and then he just bad trades, and I rolled him over. I got 95 points. It was 95 to 69.
Nice.
He left me a gap to come down and kill 5 Death Company in a place where my rubrics wouldn't get charged back. So I was like, I'll have that.
Nice.
And from there it just snowballed. That meant I got the Terraform, obviously, and at one point in the game he charged 10 Van Vets into 10 Cultists, which I thought wasn't the best trade for him. And then on my swingback turn I killed 19 of those Van Vets and both Sang Priests. So it was a pretty good turn.
Absolutely.
He was an absolutely lovely fellow though, Nicholas Verdino. He's got a bit of tournament experience, but I think he went on to go 3-2 and smashed it. He had a good run.
The most important question is, did you tell him how he could have beat you?
Here's how you could have won.
Yes, I did. I told him I didn't tell him before the game that you can charge onto the second floor because he didn't need to know that. If he knew it, he could have used it. But I told him about it after the game, and he was like, "Oh,
that's a good idea."
yeah." I didn't give him a position where it would have been catastrophic for me if he'd done that.
No.
Because I've got the reps against Blood Angels to know not to do that and to know exactly how I need to deploy and move my models and such. But yeah, it was just a solid game. He played it fine, and I mean he'd never played against T-Suns, so I can't fault him at all. He played it, he went for his terraforms, he scored all of his cards, he still got to 60 points, even though he was basically tabled at the end of turn 4. So yeah,
And he went first, so
and I went second, so it was good. He was a great game. It was nice to get one win under the belt. It was a bit of a confidence boost.
A good start, right?
It was a bit of a confidence boost because I was very worried going into the Blood Angels that I'd get Alex Harrison again.
I saw him. Not pretty soon.
Is that when you're standing over his bed watching him?
The video's coming out after.
So round 2, obviously Purge the Foe. I draw Dan Whitaker, who is, you lads might know him. You might have played against him. He's a pretty damn solid player. My friend Sam, the World Eaters player from Black Crow, was actually going into LGT trying to beat Dan for best World Eaters UKTC. Even though Dan was running Drukhari, he's a very strong player. He's put up 5-0s, 4-1s. So I was pretty scared, and he was running Real Space Raiders, which I've not played against in a long time, and not many people are playing, even though they're still just as strong, if not stronger, in some people's hands than Sky.
Yeah, with the right bid, absolutely.
Yeah, so he was running like 12 Grotesques, 6 Talos, all the Scourge, a couple Raiders with some stuff in Lilith, like all of the Drukhari greatest hits, but in Real Space Raiders. And his list was very well disposed to actually take advantage of Purge the Foe, because obviously he had a lot more innate toughness. He could actually stand on points.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a little worried going in, and obviously he's an extremely good player. And I actually ended up winning by 1 point, going first on Purge the Foe, which I am very proud of, because during deployment I told him about my crystal, my OP Downey turn 1, and there's a kind of, on the Crucible of Battle maps, there's a decision to be made about whether you put something that can get shot turn 1, or you leave a gap for a 9-inch deep strike. And he decided not to screen it because he didn't want to get shot by Magnus needlessly. And I was like, yeah, that's a fine decision, but my crystal could come down there. And he said, yeah, but that's a fine trade for me because, I'll kill the rubrics on the swing back. Well, I go first on Purge the Foe, I draw no prisoners, and I'm like, it's fucking go time. Those 3 squads of Scourge that are in your back building, I know you screened it out, but I'm going to deep strike down, double move, Doombolt 1, shoot another, shoot some other shit, score 5 points on prisoners, and immediately take the upper hand. So they also all had Dark Lances because he had the Talos with Haywire. So those were priority number 1 for me, and I think I killed 2 of them in the first turn, plus some Mandrakes.
That's a huge lot.
Crazy. It was a very good first turn. And he was then also in a very difficult position for his following turn because the spot the rubrics were in, he couldn't easily move anything to deal with them. He needed to move something because he couldn't rely on just his shooting killing them back. And so what I ended up doing was overwatching the last Talos to move, squad of 2 Talos, and I killed one of them, which is fine. I'm happy with that. So yeah, it was a great first turn. And from there, it kind of snowballed. It was pretty back and forth. He ingressed some Talos into my deployment zone to try and take my home objective.
Yeah.
His cards were very good throughout the game as well. He was scoring 8, 10, 8, 10, and even 8 on the last turn. But it basically came down to, in the last turn, I'd killed Magnus on his own. I drew Air Denial in the final turn. Air Denial and Extend, and I didn't have any objective markers. I had Magnus alive on 4 wounds, and he had a Venom, a Kronos, I think some Scourge, and some Grotesques. All. No, the Grotesques weren't within 3. It was 2 Venoms, Scourge, and a Kronos, and all within 3 of the centre, just because of how the game had played out. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's just time for Magnus to go. I need him to pop off. And so Magnus on his own, pretty much, plus some rubric shooting stuff that had been into my deployment zone, killed everything in the middle, scored area denial, scored me my kill more, and then we mathed it up. And even if he held both, even if he killed Magnus, took my objective, and scored 4 points on both of his cards, Storm, Hostile, and behind enemy lines, which he couldn't necessarily do. We were kind of close to being out of time. He would still be a point behind. So I was like, have the points, let's go and just get ready for the next game. But he was super sound guy. He didn't really make any mistakes. He played it really well for a Raiders list. I just think that my turn 1 deep strike to kill some Scourge, it's pretty
big, right?
It's really big. And then obviously Magnus popping off at the end to get me my 5 on area denial is huge. So that was game 2. Obviously. Sorry? Sorry?
I'm glad to hear he popped off at some point this weekend.
Oh God. Yeah, we'll fucking get there, mate. That is later. He did a lot of heavy lifting this weekend, but he abandoned me on the go turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, round 2 was obviously a bum clencher. I barely squeaked it out. I was happy. I was like, it's only going to get harder. And harder it did, because I drew Danny Porter GSC. And I'd written down that I wanted to play GSC before LGT. But I hadn't got a chance. Because I was moving in, I was playing the TTS games. I had one booked in against a GSC player, but I had to cancel it because they were busy. So I was going in to try go 5-0 with no GSC knowledge. All I knew is that they come back a lot, they kill more than they should, but they die really fast. And so I just thought, what are T-Sun's best at? Killing really fast. I'm just going to kill his shit and see what happens. And obviously round 3 is taking hold hidden supplies, which is insane for Gene Stealer cults with a ton of infiltrates, a ton of units. I can barely trade them. It was going to be tough. I was looking at it, and also I didn't realise this until after, but the guy plays for or coaches for or has played for Team Poland, and is like one of the best GSC players in the world, who is very experienced, and at the start of the game he was very confident. Quite rightly so, because his list is good at beating T-Suns. He's a better player than I am, probably. And I don't have the experience into GSC.
No.
But basically the way the game progressed is that I killed all of his shit and he could not roll a 4 up to bring it back for the life of him. His list was...
Recently, but it's just not having 2,500 points of Gene Stealer.
Exactly. And that's how they need to win. So his list was 15 aberrants, each with a character that blow up and res and do mortals when they die, which is insane. He had a 10 brick of Gene Stealers in a truck with a Broodlord, and that was kind of his big damage piece that he deployed behind the central building. That thing can fucking move 30 inches with a charge, and so I was having to screen and stay really far back in my deployment zone and only send out what I was willing to kill. Willing to have die, I mean. In the end, the Gene Stealers, I stayed far enough away from them, they never really impacted the game. They had to come out on his turn 5, and I also went second in this matchup, which was huge for me, because I knew it's GSC, it's taken hold hidden supplies, I can't beat this guy on primary, so I'm just going to score none and get Unbroken Wall at the end of the game and beat him that way. And so I just kept as many assets as I could alive to have basically untradeable trades. And kind of pressed the advantage. He did have his, I think they're hybrid metamorphs or hybrid acolytes. He had a brick of 10 with a character, that came in from Deep Strike, and then he used this fucking stratagem. His detachment rule gives him +1 charge already, okay? And there's a stratagem in that book that if you multi-charge, you get an additional +1 at every target. So he came down, and this 10 brick of Acolytes shot and killed half a Mutalith, and then hit a 5-inch Deep Strike charge to a Mutalith, some Rubrics, and some Cultists. The one character picked up all of the Rubrics and the character. They killed the Mutalith, they killed the Cultist, and I was like, fuck. Okay, this is like, I'm going to lose now.
Yeah.
But because because I was so far back, they were in my deployment zone. So for that turn, I just stood still. I literally just stood still, flamed them off, hoped they didn't come back. That was my out, and they didn't come back. And so from there, I could afford to branch out a little bit more and get Unbroken Wall at the end of the game. I can't really overstate how rotten this guy's luck was. He was a really lovely guy. It was a super intense game. He was quite rightly getting a little bit upset with his dice. Because it was like, here's 30 hits from Hand Flamers. How many wounds? Oh, none. What?
Oh.
He was not. The dice were not with him for that game, but it's a nice game. And
yes, absolutely.
He approached it very, very correctly. It has to be said. And he's in the Team England Discord server in the Gene Stealer Cult channel, and he did a kind of a review of his tournament. And he said about the game that his opponent, me, played it to near perfection. So I'm really, really happy with that one, despite not knowing the Gene Stealer Cults. And I think I smashed it. I think if I lost to him, he would have made 5-0. Yes. Ash, what's that? What are you writing, mate?
Dice is shit.
I agree.
Why Ash?
Josh, you can shut up. Your dice are fine, mate.
Just your kills.
So game 3. Game 3, you got picked. You got picked up last time.
The microphone's not picking you guys up again. Just speak into it a bit louder.
Just speak a bit louder, Ash.
Speak louder.
Yeah.
Louder.
That's better.
I was basically saying, you pull yourself out of shit, which so happens to be what I was doing on Sunday morning before your game 4.
Yes. Fucking hell, that was criminal. I was going to say, Saturday night, we were all knackered. We'd all had some really tough games. And we were all doing really well, despite hard matchups. Ben was 3-0. I think Berry was 3-0, right? Or
we were the only ones 3-0.
But Berry lost a game by like a point to the sisters.
Well, he still lost, okay?
He did still lose. But we were all knackered, and then fucking, I'm sharing a room with Josh. He absolutely destroys the toilet in the morning. just to set the tone.
One of the spiciest noodles combo ever.
What pedigree? Not a good combination, spice and pedigree.
No, absolutely.
Well, a trick witness them that morning.
Out in the trunk.
You're always drunk.
Stance.
And then Saturday night when we got the round 4 pairings, didn't we, Alex?
Yeah, and we fucking all got sisters.
I didn't.
Shut up, Josh.
You got sugar.
Yeah.
We had a trash off and 3 sisters, which was mental. So we all did a bit of labbing on what the fuck we do against sisters. I had identified and played against Double Exorcist before the event and got absolutely, I don't want to use a really bad word, but fucking bent over. Like, it's so bad for the T-Suns. Castigators kill Rubrics just with impunity. They can just kill Magnus if they want to, from out of line of sight, if they really want to. It's a horrible matchup. And obviously, I had Ed Watts, who is one of, if not the best UK-based player, and a super sound guy. And we had a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Never had a career playing.
I mean, he spoke about it on the 6++ show the other day about the game and how we both played it extremely razor tight. I was going in with a game plan of I need to go second and I need to secret mission at the end, and this is the only way I win. And so I just stuck 100% to that game plan. He rolled to go first, so needed to apply a bit of pressure. But I think, if I'm right, Ed hadn't played his list into T-Suns before the event because he picked Sisters up on a kind of last minute thing. Obviously very strong army. But yeah, I think the main thing is that he didn't kill enough rubrics, and if he'd killed more rubrics he would have walked away with it. I had a very tough decision to make for deployment, whether I start Araman on the board, because I run Araman on a disc on his own, and if he starts on the board he's got 6 wounds, so an exorcist can just say fuck off and he dies.
Oh, you failed one save, he's dead.
Well, if you fail one you can blank it, but if you fail 3 like I did, then he's just dead. So yeah, and to follow that act on the first turn, he second exorcist then put 4 damage on Magnus, and I was just like, oh shit, I'm about to get destroyed. But it turns out that actually fed into my game plan really well, because I'd not intentionally with Araman, but also with Magnus, I'd baited him into shooting exorcists at Magnus and Araman and not my uppy downy crystal squad of rubrics. So that crystal squad of rubrics stayed there the whole game, looked small, unthreatening, unassuming, so that in the last turn I can pick them up and score 20 points and win the game.
Yeah.
However, Ed pulled an absolute masterclass to stop me from doing that by, in his turn 5, basically taking 10-15 minutes of his clock time to go, right, you've secret missioned, you can do all of them, what the fuck do I do? And he pulled off a very, very impressive screen. He did, though, leave a very small gap of his deployment zone open. So in my mind, I was thinking, I'm home free, I'm going to score 80 points, I'm chilling. But what actually happened was that we'd gone back and forth over the board throughout the game, and I'd denied his primary, he'd denied my primary, and I only let him score I think I let him score 4, then 6. He got up to 20 by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So did I, with the 12 at the bottom of turn 5. So we'd each scored 1 objective at some point in the game. Then in his turn 5, I'd kept everything way back. He scored a load of points to get him to 20. So I was on 8 at that point, and in a bit of trouble. But because he was only on 20, because it's Burden of Trust and Burden of Trust is shit, and we were about equal on secondaries. I was just ahead on secondary cards. Then he decided not to go for Storm Hostile Objective in his turn 5 in order to block my secret mission, and that play put him 7 points behind rather than 3 points behind going into turn 5. And so I thought my secret mission was a lock. However, I draw Mark for Death turn 5, and he assigns it to a Dialogus, who I can only see if I move to a certain spot, which he did on purpose, I find out later. So I'm then like, okay, this is fine. Up my crystal unit comes. Are you happy? I'll just drop them here, they will move in. Magnus will kill that, we're done. And he's like, oh no, you got to order it. And so I was like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll just place it in it. We have a load of time, let's just place it in the game. So I move Magnus so he can see the Dialogus. He rolls a 2 on his Dominion reactive move, which I forgot about. And his Dominions move 2 inches further forward and push the screen so that I can't come down into his deployment zone. And I'm like, oh no. But with some quick maths after that, I was fine, because he'd not scored enough secondary throughout the game. We both had good cards. We both scored relatively highly for Burden of Trust. It was 66-59.
Not bad.
It's not bad. And yeah, he was a lovely opponent. It was incredibly, incredibly stressful for both of us. We were playing it on an absolute razor wire. And yeah, I think he kind of realised turn 4 that I was in a strong position and he hadn't been able to do enough because I'd just given him nothing throughout the game. So yeah, happy with how I approached that one. Pulled off the plan. I didn't get the secret mission, but that's okay. I didn't need the extra points.
Yeah, I mean, you very clearly set out a plan. You knew what you wanted to do, just approach, just went in.
Yeah, I had a path to victory, and that was score my cards, stop him from scoring his cards, and stop him from scoring primary, and I will win if I go second. Even though I'd thought the matchup is like a 2%, I'll never win it. Because it was Burden of Trust, I was able to just completely ignore everything and just kind of cruise to a win. It wasn't cruising though, at all. I'll tell you that. Yeah, Ed played it really well, and yeah, he was super sound and
really nice guy.
Obviously, quite disappointed after the game because he was hoping to go 5-0 and further. So I have to congratulate him on just he stayed for round 5, which he was debating whether to do or not. Went 4-1, smashed it. Guy's a legend. I really enjoyed it, and obviously I'm on cloud 9 throughout lunch, and I'm like, fucking hell, I've beat 3 guys in a row who are incredible. I wonder what the hell I'll get for round 5.
It doesn't get any easier from there, does it?
No, it doesn't get any easier from there. I get Jokl from Iceland, who is the
as well.
best Drukhari player, would you say?
No.
I mean, you're the best Drukhari player because you beat me. Sorry, Josh.
Fine now.
Look, Josh, I need to keep complimenting him so he'll paint me an army.
Oh,
I can't hear what you're saying, but that action was very funny.
yeah. It's not even scary. It's just what happened this tournament now. The overreaction. Oh, that's disgusting. Absolutely horrible.
What is it with crash drivers to each other like?
No, me and Ash worked it out, and there was a 1 in 100 chance of it happening.
And it did.
Yeah, it's happened a few times now.
Did it last year?
Well, this is the thing, Ash, is like if there's 5 or 10 of us at a tournament and we are all going on similar records, then
Because last year there was a lot more of us, whereas this year there's only 6 of us.
I played Brant, I think, at last year's LGT.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, you played Brand, I played Matt.
Yeah, there's enough of us on similar records that it's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah, it only happened once, so it
Yeah.
makes a change.
Ash wasn't very happy with you, was he, though?
Oh, no, it wasn't, but
It seemed like it was an interesting game, at least.
oh, it was very good game. Secret mission for the first time.
Yeah, man.
Yes, it is broken.
I gave on the Saturday night when the pairings got published, I was sat next to Ash, and I gave Ash a very a detailed game plan. This is what you need to do to beat Josh because he's going to make these mistakes. Sorry, Josh, but
It's
to be fair, I told Ash what to do, and then later on I told you what to do, and it seems like the dice / the game plan was more in your favour.
yeah, no, secret mission was that game.
Secret mission. You went second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think both of you are really good players, and it was quite a closely matched list. Whoever goes second on Burden just wins.
Yeah.
Because if he goes second, he just unbroken walls and fucks you.
He didn't think I was going for a broken wall.
No, you're going battle line, like I told you to do.
No, that's what I went.
Good.
But he
Well
thought
done.
broken. So he went.
You postured.
No. I had that much shit left.
Yeah, that's one thing I was doing against Ed because he hadn't figured out that I was going for War of Attrition, Battle Line 1. He didn't twig it until literally his turn 5 movement phase when he looked again at all the cards and figured out, wait, you've still got the crystal left, don't you? And was like, fuck, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
he, at that point, up until that point, was trying to block Magnus from getting to his home objective and trying to block Unbroken Wall, which he did very well, but in the end, didn't need it. It was good.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them, really, when you actually start thinking about it, how many you can actually score.
Yeah, if the player going second postures in a way to make it possible to score all three in their turn 4, then it's as the player going first in your 5th turn, it's like, what the fuck do I do? Because you're between a rock and a hard place. You can stop one, but you can't stop the other 2.
Well, especially for you, like you can like do 3 quite easily.
Yeah, I can do all 3. I mean, I've tried Shatter Cohesion once as well, but
yeah.
If you remember that one, Josh.
Yeah, I remember. It was that time I beat you.
Yes, it was. By 1 point, because I didn't get my secret mission, because Lord Solar lived on 5 wounds.
Oh god, that game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's grim.
I love it. I'll never forget.
But yeah, right. The Yokel match.
The Yokel match. Yeah. Yokel was... I'd not met him before, actually, even though he's been to a lot of UKTC events. But Yokel was a really nice guy. We were both just out of steam. I was knackered after my round 4, and he was struggling as well.
But you've not eaten as well, remember? So that was...
Neither of us had a chance to eat because parents went up really quickly and we wanted to get the game started because either one of us would have had to play round 6, which started 10 minutes after round 5 ends. So we both were like, let's just get on with this. Let's get it going. Super sound at the start of the game. The game starts. Oh my god, you can tell he plays WTC. He was hot on the clock and he was really strong in the way he moved like really tight in the way he rolled his dice, moved his models, communicated things. I was really impressed by him as a player. However, his approach to the game was wrong, and I've told Ben this because I played Ben. That was my last game before LGT. I played against double plane Sky Splinter with Court instead of Incubi, but it's basically the same theory. So I knew it's a bad matchup for me, and yeah, I did, Ben. I got fisted, mate. It was not fun.
It's not letting me live this one.
No, he needs to keep me in check. But yeah, he had a plane, which is just kills rubrics for free. He had 30 Incubi, which is different to your list, obviously, Ben. But as well, he had Darklands Scourge, which I was like, okay, all of the Drukhari tools are there, and he had Leather. All of the Drukhari tools are there.
Yeah.
I don't know how he fit it all on his list, to be honest, but it was very scary. And so, yeah. The same thing, though, happened. So I went second in this game, Scorched Earth. Mm-hmm. And during deployment, again, it's Crucible of Battle. I told him about the 9-inch screening choice. And he made the choice to not screen it, which I thought was interesting. Because it had won me the game against Dan. I'm not going to tell him that it won me the game against Dan, because then he'd screen it. But I think Yokel wins that game if he just disembarks Lenneth from the Venom and puts an empty Venom in that hole on the deployment map so that I can't get into his army.
Yeah.
Because, once again, turn 1, I draw Overwhelming Force. And he has a Scourge squad and a Mandrake squad on his home objective, and he actually moved a Scourge squad out, thinking it would be safe. Well, not thinking it would be safe, knowing he wasn't screening it, he moved a Scourge squad out. And so I was like, I drew Overwhelming, and I was like, I'm going for this again. I'm killing 10 Scourge and 2 Chaff squads. My other card was Area Denial, so he had Witches that were deliberately denying Area Denial. He had Mandrakes on his home, and he had 2 squads of Scourge. One was on the objective, one was off. And so I moved out and I went, right, here we go. It's my crystal unit. I can deep strike them, turn 1, throw a Doom Bolt, and then do a load of flamer shots.
Yeah.
And if I split my shots well enough and I don't roll below average on anything, I can smooth it out with my command point as well. So if my Infernal Master rolls stupid low, then I CP it and hopefully get 6, which will kill most of the squad.
Yeah.
So the way I ended up splitting was I think I doom bolted a Scourge squad to guarantee it. I put the Infernal on I put an Infernal and the Warp Smite. So just the extra 2 shots, so in case he only kills 4, he gets that last one. The Warp Smite would get that last one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like the Flame Pistol and 2 Flamers at the Mandrakes, and the Soul Reaper and another Flamer at the Witches. Or something along those lines. That might not be exactly correct, but I ended up killing 18 models in that one activation.
It sounds like it would do it to me, to be honest.
Yeah. So it was quite a long time I spent deciding how I'm allocating my shots, where I get rerolls, where I don't, who I doom bolt. But in the end, I ended up scoring a 5 on Aerodenial, a 5 on Overwhelming, and removed 2 of his scoring units and 2 of his danger units in one fell swoop, which was
brutal.
Perfect. And I'm going second, and he can't charge me with anything else. I was like, right, I'm in. This is a game. And so after my turn 1, Yockel asks me for some time to just think. He switches the clock to him, and he just stands there, and he literally just stares at the board. He stares at the board for 5 minutes, and then he walks off. And I go to the toilet because he tells me, you should go, I'm still thinking. And I come back, and he's nowhere. He's taken a lap around the venue to think after taking it all in. And then he gets back to the board and plays his... I mean, I was astounded. I was like, this is... What the fuck is going on? Because he's just like... The funny thing is as well, is when I got back from the toilet, I complimented his painting. And I don't think he twigged. He was so deep in thought, I don't think he twigged what I said. He flicked the clock to me. Because I said, oh, your painting on this one's really nice. And he flicked the clock and was like, you what? And and I was like, sorry, mate, I didn't say anything. Clock back to you. So, yeah, from that point on, he was really stressed. And I was also really stressed because obviously he's deep in thought and he has ways to root himself out of this game. He can take
100%.
free trades with the Incubi.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually ended up... I made a mistake. I made a massive mistake with my screening. I'd done a load of work to push back his boat ingress on the far side of the board. But I had my Spawn, my Enlightened and my Cultists on my far side of the board. One to hold the objective, one needed to score Locus, and one needed to screen. What I ended up doing was pushing all 3 units forward and leaving a hole in my deployment zone for the boat to ingress. And so the Nightmare Shroud boat ingressed there. And oh man, at that point I thought I'd lost because it was a big mistake. I easily had the ability to stop him from being able to do that. I would have needed to tow a model back 3 inches that I'd moved it forward. It was a big lapse of judgment, but we both kind of getting low on time because I'd taken a long time on my turn 1 to make sure I nailed it, which I evidently did, and then he took a lot of time to think. So we were then both playing rapid, and I just missed it. And I think if that position had gone better for him, he was definitely in a place to win that game. He ended up charging the stuff on my home objective and wiping it, so he killed 10 Zangles and a Rubik squad with the character. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. Yeah. But also in that thing is in his previous turn, he'd deep struck the plane at his other side of the board, not behind his home ruin, on his far side of the board. And I had a decision to kind of, do I go for it with Magnus and overextend, or do I keep Magnus in my deployment zone? And what ended up happening was I decided to stay in my deployment zone, but missed the screen. So he ingressed his boat there, and I was like, okay, Magnus will die if he stays here. I need to double move him away. So I actually ended up moving Magnus back to where he was going to go to kill the plane, which he then did. And at that point, Yockel had no resources left apart from that. He had like a Raider, a Venom, the Incubi that then died on my home objective, and one more squad of 10 Incubi actually. But at that point, they couldn't do enough. and I just managed to
They're really huge on UKTC boards, right? Because you can't get the raiders round a lot of those terrain pieces to get the extra reach. You're relying on that 10-inch disembark and charge. Whereas if you could move 14 disembark then charge, great. You'd probably reach it slightly better. If it's stuck behind a ruin, it's out of the game basically, unless you come towards it.
So interestingly, it was probably another game I won because I went second, because I only beat him on secondaries by a few points, but the bottom of turn, I can double move Magnus and burn his home objective, and that's exactly what I did. So I beat him by 17 points. And yeah, really good game. He was very complimentary after the game, which I thought was really nice. He was a lovely fella. Looking forward to I'm looking forward to playing him again, to be honest, because it was really a brain teaser, and he was lovely.
Yeah, you seemed annoying packing all your shit up for you when you went to go for another pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seemed like a nice guy then, in all fairness. Like, not what I'd expect at all.
Sorry, I'm just thinking still about a lap right there either.
Yeah, it was so strange. It was the funny thing as well, because it's actually a track around the arena. So he'd gone for a lap of the track to collect his thoughts. And
I like it though, but you know, the amount of times I've said, if you just take 5-10 minutes, stop and assess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you'll pick up and realise and whatnot. I mean, I'm not saying go to a fucking 500-metre lap, but you know, the minutes to stop and assess.
It really is. If you've got the time, taking the time to just pause and go, I'm going to absorb this board state, and I'm going to see this board state for the next 3 turns, and at that point, I'm going to have the running total of points-ish in my head. Yeah. So I now know what needs to happen for me to win this game, and he pulled most of those things off, but his mistake with the plane just let me stay ahead on assets.
Yeah.
So I had enough to just score everything at the end of the game, and I'd get off the board.
It deployed somewhere different, right? Like, well, you know, with our game, like it goes in, it deletes a rubric and a character.
Yeah.
Which is plenty. That's exactly what I take that trade.
As a T-Sun, a rubric and a character loss is just absolutely devastating. And if it can do mortals on the way over as well, it's a bonus. But yeah, he aside from not screening, which is something that you make a decision on in the moment, and playing, he played an absolutely lights out game. It was so tightly played. He was like, I'm gonna, you know, when he's charging mutiliths with incubi, and he's like got the boat that he can fall back into. Obviously, it's kind of obvious that you want to be able to charge so you can get back in. But like, the way he positioned his models to avoid overwatches, and so that his charges, even if he rolls like a 9, don't prevent him from getting into the boat, which can be something big. And I positioned my mutilith to make it so it was as hard as possible, like really far away from where a raider has to stage. But he managed to do a really good job with his micro positioning, aside from that screening fault. Which, if we played again, me and Yoko, I don't win the game because he doesn't let me kill his Scourge, and his Scourge do nasty shit. And yeah, so it was a great game. It was a great game.
And that's it. It's 5-0 at LGT.
5-0
At this point, right? You're like, I don't care. I could lose the next game and go home happy.
No, it's not a winning attitude.
No, after 5-0, I could not believe it because my Sunday had been utterly diabolical. My matchups were my last 3 matchups, The Drukhari round 2 is like a hard game, but I think I'm slightly favoured. Yeah. Dan played it really well. So my run up to that point was just so difficult. And I was like looking around, oh God, who else is in the top 20? Oh my God, it is, literally Manny, David, Naz, Alex Harrison, Liam VSL, like all of the greats. And I'm like, okay, I will be happy. I will be very happy to have gone 5-0. But what ends up happening is round 6, I get paired into Demons. And not Manny's demons. It's a guy from Switzerland called Briuk, I think. Lovely fella. My height, which is nice. Yeah. And that LGT, even though he was flying internationally, was his first singles GT.
Oh my god.
And he'd gone 5-0. So he plays in the league system, the team events over in Switzerland and France. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, your list I just kill. I can just eat your list and you don't have singles experience. How did I get so lucky? And not only that, the board, oh my god. You've probably heard a few people say that they didn't play test round 6 and round 7.
I heard that. I watched Splices the other day, so that one was absolutely atrocious.
It was crazy. It was Hammer and Anvil, and he's playing 4 Greater Demons, and 3 Greater Demons and 2 Soul Grinders, and Soul Grinders on 160mm bases. So fair play to him to get him where he was, but those Soul Grinders couldn't move out of his deployment zone, and once they deep striked, couldn't come out of wherever they were.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So it was 400 points down. Like, I can't say I didn't get extremely lucky in this pairing. But still, I approached it as if I could lose, because I can easily lose. If he ingresses Shalaxi and does a 6-inch charge to the Magnus and picks her up, and then she lives and kills another unit, I just get completely smashed.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. I'm very happy with how I approached the first couple of turns with screening and getting a terraform off as well. And so I, again, draw like Assassinating Prisoners turn 1. And so he has the Mask of Slaanesh with some Fiends in his deployment zone. And he knows I can deep strike and see them turn 1, but there's nowhere else he can put them. And so I do exactly that. I Doombot the Mask, she dies, and I kill the Fiend down to like 2 wounds, so I missed the extra point on Prisoners, but again, I've set the tempo, and at that point, Shalaxi deep strikes next to them. They overwatch and do 7 damage to Shalaxi with a 5/4 no pain. I think I rolled 11 shots with the Infernal and converted like 7 damage. That's just the Infernal Master. My dice were on fire that game. So yeah, I kill Shalaxi and another keeper in 1 turn. And I then completely move block his entire rest of his army, so it can't do anything. And yeah, from there, he can't stop me getting 100, and he moves the Great and Clean one up to hit the Mutalith. Obviously, it doesn't kill the Mutalith, and so then my entire army kills a Great and Clean one. It does take my entire army though. I get down to the last unit. I think Magnus in combat kills him. But at that point, he has something in Deep Strike. He's got what's her name? The thing that Liam run last year, the Silesk, the demon. Silesk. He has that in Deep Strike. He's got 3 Screamers, 1 Fiend on 2 wounds, and some Plague Bearers, and that's it. And so I table him turn 4.
Just so,
yeah, that's demons. That's demons, and I am. Manny's list was a lot different. He had blood crushers, but I can say it with extreme confidence that I would have brutalized Manny as well. And that probably sounds really cocky, so sorry. But demons into T-Sons when I can move block.
Yeah, click that one. Take them out on keep that. Oh, remember this?
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh well. It's alright. When I pair into him at some point, I will beat him. We'll see.
I'll shit at Warhammer, but I've got to remember this stuff.
So you won your round 6. So round 7, you got enough points to not have to play, right?
So yeah, my round 6 finishes obviously like 80 minutes in, so I get a chance to. I mean, I can't understate it. The demon's luck was terrible, and my luck was like straight crazy, and so I just tabled him so fast. It was horrible to run into for round 6 for him. And I was incredibly lucky because I think every other player in that top 20 had a list that could walk mine over. There was a few Necrons. It would have been really interesting. But yeah, round 7, I'm taking a look at tables of who's won. Obviously the placings aren't live yet, so I can't see points. And I'm hearing that the shadow round is done on who's got the least points. At that point, I'd dropped 77 in 6 games, with 6 wins, which is actually quite a lot.
It is, yeah.
It's actually quite a lot because I had an 80 win against Yoko, 66 against Danny's GSC, and dropped a few points in my other games as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was really worried I'd have to play another game. And at that point, I was absolutely floored. I was wrecked. I literally went, you know the prize corner they had with the VIP stuff? I went to find a charger and they had this really nice chair and I laid it back and I just shut my eyes while people were still playing their game because I was knackered.
When you say check that, it was really unfortunate.
So yeah, I dodged the shadow round by a place.
Good.
Which I was very lucky.
There's 4 games in one day is a lot when it's 4 intense games as well.
And I don't know if you guys watched the stream game with David. I don't know if it was on stream, but his voice was completely killed by the end of round 6, and then he got to do the shadow round. He had to do the shadow round as well and lost to the Tau. And I was counting my lucky stars that I didn't have to play that 7th game. My pad of points was more than I thought because a few people have had really low wins. Consecutive really low wins.
Well, I think David, didn't he? He had a 33-31 win or something.
37, 36, yeah.
That was it. It was a really low score.
It was a really low score, yeah. And so that was obviously I had a little bit of luck. So I had a lot of luck with my round 6 pairing, a little bit of luck to dodge round 7, and then pairings get put up at 10 PM, and I'm refreshing it all evening to see what I've got to play in the following day because I know I'm in the top 8. I go and I buy a hotel. I go and sort myself out. I actually went and had a bath before pairings got put up, which was
good lad.
It was lovely. I can't remember whose idea that was, but someone said
it was mine.
Was it your idea? Yeah, mate, that was a fantastic idea. I had a bath. I put my feet up, and then pairings got put up, and I had the fucking buy round. And I could not believe my eyes, mate.
Proper jammy bastard.
So jammy. The thing is, everyone who lost in the quarterfinals, I would have been able to beat.
Yeah.
I would have been able to beat the Tau.
The thing is that I know we're saying jammy, but everything up until this round, I know the Demons pairing was probably slightly lucky for you, but everything you've done up until this bye round, it is based on hard work. Though. So don't take it away from yourself just on luck. Because yes, you did get essentially 2 bye rounds, right? But the fact that you scored enough points to go and dodge the shadow round, it is all off your own back.
And I worked hard for every single point because I knew I wanted to go 5-0, and I knew that was a possibility. So thanks, mate, because that is I appreciate that. It was. The nice thing is that I paired him.
Get to the final, dickhead.
If Manny hadn't dropped,
third place, but you worked hard to get to that point.
If Manny hadn't dropped and I'd paired into Manny, it would have been a really interesting game. But I know it sounded cocky when I said it earlier. But it would have been a really interesting game, but I could have just blasted him off the table.
It's just true though. I don't think it was an army he chose to take either, was it? I think
his patrons helped him choose the army and helped him write the list. Him getting top 10 with that list is just crazy.
It's pretty good.
There were 3 demons in the top 20, which is mental.
Crazy. Goes to show what slight tweak of the rules does for him.
But that shows how good a player
No,
he is,
because
though.
they're gonna get buffed. Their win rate's like 46.
Yeah, they goes top 20. That shows how good a player he is as well. So.
Yeah, I was table neighbour to Manny in his game against Vic, and that game was wow. They both. That was my game against Ed, so obviously I wasn't watching it too hard, but yeah, he played that so well to beat Vic, and they both clocked out, so they couldn't finish the game. If they would have finished the game, Vic had a round of shooting to go.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have been able to clinch it, but yeah,
if you both clocked out, then that's not both of you at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's
So yeah, Monday morning, I wake up at 7:30 because there's a fan in my room that I can't turn off. I wanted to have a bit of a line, but I decided to go to the venue for 9:30 for when the game started.
Yeah.
I actually got there before Naz. So yeah, and I wanted to see how, obviously watch 3 of the best games of Warhammer.
Yeah.
It's
pretty competition.
Even if I was planning my journey to stay there and not play on the Monday, I would have loved to hang about and watch the games because they were awesome.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird because I was there like a kind of fly on the wall among incredible company in terms of the players of 40k, the top level of 40k, and I was there on merit, and that felt so good in the morning because I mean, yeah, it was just awesome even being able to get there for the Monday. Obviously,
crazy.
A lot of hard games there and a little bit of luck.
Those top walking side, wasn't it?
Oh no, that video interview they did. He told me to say something to the camera and then he put bloody music over it so I looked like an idiot.
I heard no music. Bitty.
And then in the afternoon on War Games Live, they shot it like fucking Lord of the Rings with a 6'8" guy near the camera and me way behind it. Not on the stream. Liam is literally 6'8", and his back is to the camera, and I'm all the way over there, and it's like, oh, these guys look like they're from different species.
I read some of the comments on that stream.
The comments were amazing. Berry took some screenshots of the worst ones and sent them all to me. Yeah, it was good.
I was working. I actually sent the screenshot myself.
Yeah, it was fun, but it was all in good jest, which was nice. And it was awesome to actually be on the stream.
Someone tried to tell me off for calling you so young. Apparently, commenting on the stream about, oh, he's so young, he can't even fucking drink at WCW. Someone tried to tell me off. I was like, yeah, he's my boy. I can do this.
There was a lot of people watching it as well, wasn't there? Yeah, so the Monday morning was really interesting. There was a game, so it was Johnny Simmons versus Brian, his Orcs. There was Liam versus Andy QC with the Necrons, and then there was the stream game, which was Naz versus the Tau, which was a banger. Yeah. 2 of those games got decided by 1 point in turn 5. And if Lewis had lost, and I could have had a chance to play into Naz probably would have run me over, but I would have had a good chance.
Yeah.
And if Liam lost, if I was always playing the game of the winner of Liam and Andy's game, I would have paired into Hypercrypt Necrons, which I have quite a lot of experience into, and T6 wreck that matchup. Yeah. He said to me after he'd lost to Liam, there was one pairing I didn't want in the top 8, and it was you. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because the game, him and Liam, was super tight. They both played it really well. Yeah. And we lost the Tesseract Vault early, but killed a lot of stuff. And it came down to Huron on his home point, killing a Doomsday Ark, 0 to dead. Well, 100 to dead, sorry. It was 2 a blitz, Huron, a grenade, and melee. And Huron managed it to the damage, he managed it to make Liam win by a point which was
disgusting.
crazy. It was disgusting, honestly. And if Liam had lost that game, oh man, the chances, it would have been there.
It would have been on.
It would have been on. So yes, that's all of the run. We don't need to talk about the game against Liam, do we?
Something about the first turn, I've heard, but
It should have pushed Magnus out first. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's talk about it. Right. Let's talk about it. The game against Liam. So many people have said that I approached the game wrong, and they are wrong.
I preface this by watching it my end. I was never in doubt that you had a plan. The cards were just against you and forcing you to make plays you probably didn't have wanted to. And going first sucked.
I also lad. They wasn't there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I could say all of those things. I can make excuses, but I knew I played against Liam. My list into his list on TTS. I played him a few weeks ago. I made a mistake that lost me the game. He hit a good charge, picked up a squad of rubrics when I shouldn't have let him. Fine, move on. That's practice. We knocked that in. Whole different vibe. This is semi-finals of the LGT. I'm not going to make that mistake again, obviously.
No.
But there's a lot riding on this game, right? And in that game against Liam, at the list stage, his obliterators create an intense amount of pressure for Thousand Suns that we can't really do anything about.
No.
They can deep strike or ingress and just kill a unit of rubrics and the character. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's from indirect, obviously, with full rerolls to hit and sustained at 2 damage. Strength 8 -2, 2 damage, ignores cover. So that profile with D6 Blast, rubrics evaporate. Marines evaporate. That's why they're in the list. That's why CSM did so well at last year's LGT, because the Blitz were broken. They haven't changed, they just went up in points, guys. Like, that's the same fucking thing.
they're still very good.
They're still horrendous for Thousand Suns. So, in the list stage, I already know this sucks. Like, just having the Blitz there, they create so much pressure that I can't do anything about. I can try and address it by standing further back and forcing the Blitz to come down on the terrain piece, which is exactly what happened, by the way. And that was my in into the game. Is his Blitz have to stand on the terrain to shoot indirectly with enough range, so that Magnus can then move and shoot them. And that's what happened, and that was my game plan. The thing is, Liam waited the extra turn. He didn't give me an in. He was never gonna give me an in.
No.
But I draw two cards, round 1, they're shit. What is it? Bring It Down and Mark for Death. I bin it and I get overwhelming. Absolutely horrendous cards.
Yeah.
I moaned about it a little bit. I'm not going to moan about it too much. Happens all the time, guys.
Yeah.
Like, Thousand Suns are in a great position where I'm able to score those cards turn 1. Some armies don't get to do that. So, I just, advanced my cultist up to the wall to make sure he should deal with them, because he needs to kill them, obviously. And I was like, right, if I can roll 2 average Doom Bolts to kill a Rhino, I'll take it. That's a fine first turn. So I had an interesting decision on my turn 1, and that was with Overwhelming Force as my redraw. Because I put cultists on his expansion objective that he has to then come out and deal with, 5 out of 6 of those times I will generate a command point. So binning a good card, Overwhelming, because he needs to stand on the objectives to kill those cultists.
Yeah.
So binning Overwhelming gets me a CP, but it makes those cultists worse of a trade. And the CP economy is intensely important in this matchup because I need to use Warp Sight to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I bank my chances. It's already gone badly for me in terms of cards and what I can do turn 1 and how he's set up and everything. Because he is perfect. I'm going first. My cards are shit. He is perfectly set up to just easily, without thinking, deal with whatever I put it in. I'm in the driver's seat for this game. I knew that. And I deliberately didn't go until turn 4, and we'll get to why. So, those are my cards. They're wank. for turn 1. Overwhelming is great for turn 2 though, because I know he's going to have at least 2 units on objectives for turn 2. And so I decided to keep it. Kind of a snap decision. I'm like, my cultists aren't going to roll a 1. And what's the only thing that happens in turn 2, guys? My fucking cultists roll a 1. It was really fast on stream. Joe didn't catch it. You guys probably didn't catch it. But that, like, after that had happened, I went from saying, oh, this is not good, to I'm in a lot of trouble. Immediately after that happened. Because the difference between having 2 and 3 CP is the difference between me being able to warp sight, extend range, and do full rerolls with power points for a free strat. Because I had 3, because I only had 2, I have to spend those 2 on warp sight. So Magnus can't shoot with rerolls indirectly. He can if he gets within 24. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Huron's reactive move is one of the only reactive moves in the game that can counter the rubric double move. Insane tech piece, really good from Liam. I just need him to roll not a 3+, so that Magnus is in range. Obviously, I've measured this out. He doesn't know about it. His guys could come to the other side of the wall, or they could come towards my rubrics off the objective, away from Magnus. And he makes only a Thousand Suns player would ever catch this. He puts Magnus 24.5 away, so that I have to spend an extra CP to shoot them indirect. And so, I mean, he executes it perfectly. He rolls a 3, which is enough, just. And it might have been quick and dirty with the movement, but that's what happened. So that's my crystal unit used. So that's my way into the game used. I pick up the Noise Marines with my Mutaliths, which is great. That's fantastic. I use a free strat on Magnus. I use Warp Sight to make the Chosen ignores cover, and then he pops Armor Contempt. I've anticipated this in the deployment stage, that this is going to happen at some point in the game. My Rubik's going to shoot a Chosen, and if Magnus is going to shoot him directly, he's going to pop AOC. I've rolled it out. 5 Chosen and a character die. With rerolls. With rerolls from Magnus, they die. Without it, it's close, and I need to get lucky.
Yeah.
The Rubrics do fuck all to them. I think I killed 1 with an Infernal Master and a Flamer and a Soul Rip Cannon.
It looked pretty.
It wasn't great. I think I rolled like 4 shots on the Infernal.
I was sat for a vocal reception, and like me and my vet were watching it. It's new grad, and I was like, watch this play. He's going to absolutely delete this unit.
Oh no!
And then like 2 models got removed. I was like, oh.
It was so good, wasn't it? So yeah. Also keep in mind, this is Huron and the Chosen, which was, apart from the 10-man, this is the big damage output, melee damage output in his army. They create a ton of pressure. They sit on the objective before anything else because they've got the reactive move twice, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
Magnus rolls 2 on his shots for the blast, hits once, Liam saves it. Magnus then rolls 6 on his number of shots, hits 3 times, wounds 3 times, and kills 1. With AP2 ignores cover. And at that point, I was like, to be honest, it probably doesn't make a massive difference in the result of the game, whether I kill them or not. But at that point, that's like my big play to get a foothold in the game, to score 5 points on prisoners, to score, keep a lot of points, make sure he's off the objectives, everything like that. Make sure he can't deal with the rubrics just for free by charging them. It fails. So, whatever. I move on. I've got to keep plowing on. Obviously it sucks though. So his turn 2, it's I mean, I don't think I need to go that much in detail for the rest of the game.
No, we all seen it. The Predators come in.
They kill them.
Yeah.
The Mutalith whiffs on the Chosen again. I keep whiffing, basically. I keep whiffing until my go turn, and then I kill a shit ton of stuff, but it's too late. Well, actually, no. Yeah. We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
Got a point to prove.
So, The other consideration during my turn 2 is whether my Mutalith that's on my expansion objective tries to scorch it or not. Tries to touch it. So if I touch the objective, the Mutalith can be seen and obviously charged easily. If he's not touching the objective, he's not an immediate threat, so Liam's not going to do anything to him. So every turn of the game, I'm like, right, does this Mutalith need to touch now, or do I wait a turn? So I wait a turn on turn 2. I think that's correct. Because I don't want him to come out on that side of the board just yet. I don't want him to have his go turn, basically, and just wipe me. So I wait a turn, and Liam has, a good turn. He decides to wait on the rubrics, and he deep strikes his obliterators down, where he always would, behind the terrain, so they're out of range, they can't shoot this turn. Fine by me. He kills, the predators come in, they kill the rubrics, he las cannons the Mutalith and gets it down to 4 wounds. I mean, I can't pass a single save, even though I've got real saves. It's getting really bad at that point. So then my turn 3, I'm between a rock and a hard place. I say at this point to Naz, because I draw 2 shit cards again. I think I draw I draw Engage and Locus, which are synergistic, but they're not scoring enough.
No.
And so I say at that point to Naz, like, mate, I'm done for. I can't win this game anymore. And in my opinion, I think I'm right. At that point, I've already lost the game. My decisions from that point forward. I know I was very pessimistic on the stream, and there were people saying, you got to you got to play for your outs. And so at that point, I knew I'd probably lost this game. But fuck it, I'm gonna play for my outs anyway. At that point, that's kind of the one movement phase where everyone doubts my decisions. My turn 3, because I decided not to go for it again. I didn't put anything on objectives. I wanted to let Liam come to me. I needed to absorb a punch first.
I think it was a turn where you sort of making a decision, right? You had the advancing of the scouts, didn't you? Where you
this is it. So I rolled a 6 on my cultist, which is amazing. And my cultist, I wanted them to go down and then push out his deep strike and ingress so that he'd be at least 28 away from where I would move rubrics to. Because then his oblits have to come down turn 3 and they can't shoot and do what they're there to do in his list. And so my rubric, the cultists hit 6 and I'm in a position where I can stand 28 inches back from my screen, which is fantastic. However, at that point, after I'm pushing that screen, I'm laying that screen out, Liam reminds me he's got 1 CP for advance and shoot. So I need to stand not 28 away, I need to stand 34 away, which is the back of the board. But like past the back of the board, guys. So there's no point, and I pull the scouts back and pull the cultists back, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do this turn. I can't do anything. If I walk anything out, it just dies. Magnus could, at that point, because of where his chosen and his oblits were, he can't touch his wing in any bullshit spot to get an angle, and he would have to stand on the middle objective to have 30-inch range to the predators on the other side of the board. Killing a pred doesn't even matter for Magnus. I mean, it matters a little bit, but it doesn't even matter. He needs to kill a blitz. And so I'm like, look, Liam's played it really tight. There's literally nothing I can do in the turn. I try to push back his screen so that Liam can't hit me and keep me out of the game. But after I do that, he's got 1 CP to advance and shoot. So I can't do anything about it. I can stand 29 away, maybe 30 away, but then I'm so far back that the rubrics are never going to do anything for the rest of the game.
You were out of the game at that point anyway. You put yourself out.
I knew I'd already. I mean, I had talked myself out of it, but I was still playing for my outs. I was still playing for my rubrics aren't going to get 1 shot. The Mutalith can pick up Huron's squad, which it then failed to do again. And then the oblits have to deep strike and shoot indirectly into a rubric squad and kill it, but on the terrain. So Magnus has enough movement to get and move around and tip his wing over the middle pieces to see down and in and shoot and kill all 4 of the oblits. And at that point, I'm in a great position. Shoot all the oblits, charge the Chosen. That was my plan. I need to do that at some point, and I need to kill both, like 3 or 4 Blitz, and I need to kill 5 Chosen, probably, to be in with a shout at winning the game. That was the out I was playing for from the start. That was my plan. My decision that I regret, the one decision I regret, was not at that point touching the Mutilith and starting burn.
I was going to say that when the Enlightened come down and wrap the Rhino, block the Rhino from the Chosen getting out of that side, and then you were like, I'm just going to take the Mutilith off the objective. Like, you put it on initially, and then you were like, actually,
well, this is the thing. I put it on because it's the thing I moved first. So I didn't want to do a take back, and because I'd already pulled the Cultist back, and so I was like, this is close whether I want to do it or not. I don't know if I should wait a turn because my Mutilith is creating passive pressure there anyway, right? He's not coming out onto the objective because he knows if he comes out, his squad just dies. So I'm doing a good job of keeping him off the primary with a Mutilith not stood on an objective. Just off. So it's doing its job really for 150 points. The problem is that at that point, with the move block and with the Predators engaged on the other side of the board, I 100% should have just touched him on, started a burn. And then, because also I thought my Enlightened would try and move block the Rhino instead of move block my Enlightened were going to try and move block the Rhino, but then when I double moved them, I was like, actually, I'll try and move block a bit more of your Disembark. Yeah.
Which is the better call, right, in the end?
It was the better call. I just hadn't anticipated I'd be able to do it before then, which is obviously a mistake on my part. It's like I didn't have enough foresight. I had enough foresight throughout the game. I knew exactly what was going to happen. That's the one point upon watching it back that I would take back and do differently, I think. Yeah. Because...
Well, I think in the grand scheme...
It doesn't matter in the grand scheme.
Because if you listen to the overall game, right? Like the overall game, it was probably over at that point, but
all that happens is that unit, both of those units in the Rhino then go for the Mutilith. They out-OC it regardless. And they just then charge on, and I've got a load of stuff in my face. Which is... Because the thing is, in my following turn, all of my stuff did something. And I think if that unit was there, Magnus wouldn't have been able to fit his base where it was to shoot the Abyss and Charles the Chosen. So it's debatable, right? But then, at the end of my turn 3, I'm like, right, Magnus needs to kill 5 Chosen. I need to get a bit lucky here, because he's got a blank and an Acolyte. So I need to convert everything. He rolls 4 fucking 1s. Come on, man. Come on, man.
That was a brutal win.
Come on. And at that point, I'm like, right, Liam, we can pack it up and go. You just kill everything.
Yeah. That was a brutal win.
It's so depressing because I was watching the stream back as well, and it was like, oh, here we go. Magnus has killed some of Blitz. He's making the charge. And then Liam pulls 1 Chosen. And it's so disrespectful. Oh man, but it was okay. So
I've done something wrong here, though.
How we think when he just...
Yeah, when people shoot rubrics, and I'm like, no, it feels shit, doesn't it?
Oh, you got what's around Magnus. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna reroll this because I can for free, by the way. Just disgusting.
No, but we can safely say Magnus has done something wrong now. So
yeah, Magnus. No, I mean, the thing is, he didn't even do that much wrong. I mean, he killed
4 ones, Alex. That seems pretty significantly wrong to me.
He killed 3 of Blitz. Like, Magnus would have died anyway. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. He had that fucking cheeky las cannon that got 7 damage on him.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty good.
So I mean, everyone.
Great run.
I heard Fireside. They said I approached it wrong. I saw the chat. They said I approached it wrong. Joe from Wargames Live came over and asked me about what I was doing, and I was like, guys, you weren't in the driver's seat. I'd anticipated all of this shit. The reason I didn't go for anything is if I push Magnus forward, he doesn't fucking do anything. Because
it's true though. It's like, where do you push him that he does something?
All that Magnus does if he goes on turn 3 is he can't even shoot a pred. So all he does is charge the Chosen. And guess how many Chosen he killed? 1. So like that's shit. And then I know in my next turn I'll get a shot on a blitz. So
yeah,
I think the way to look at it, the better way to look at it, ignore what people say. As long as you're happy with how you played it.
I'm happy with how I played it. If I went second, I win that game.
It's easy to judge when you watch.
Oh, 100%. It's absolutely right, isn't it? I'd say you did absolutely sterling getting to where you did. And like I say, on your own merit in that field. And not an easy run.
Thanks, mate.
You can't yourself.
I can't be disappointed with losing to the actual best player in the world.
The person who won it 2 years in a row.
He's 23-0 at the LGT. Fucking hell.
He won 2 events that weekend. Brutal.
He was a lovely guy though. He was a great opponent. You can tell there's a reason he's done so well. Yeah.
It's tight, Alex. That's what it is. He's got.
He just a little bit more. You'll be fine.
He can look down at that table from a top-down view. How many other people can do this playing Warhammer?
You didn't see, the stream didn't see the hug I gave him after. I hug him, and it's like I'm down here, and he's fucking. I'm at his belly button when I'm hugging him.
Oh man!
Oh god.
It was a fantastic run, mate. No, you absolutely did. And to finish third, all the hard work's paid off for you there.
100%.
Yeah, show us the medal and trophy.
Here we are. I'll put it on.
We can see it. We like this medal and trophy.
There's the medal. Oh, and actually, where is it? Here it is.
So, please, hard seeing.
Oh no, you lads can't see me, can you?
No, that's the wrong thing.
You lads can't see me, can you?
Oh,
Oh fuck! All right, act like you're impressed because I'm showing the medal, the golden ticket, and the trophy.
It's showing. Yeah, it's showing on the show.
Tickets.
So yeah, I'm chuffed with the run, to be honest.
Yeah, should be, mate. Absolutely should be. Smashed it.
Oh,
And I'm happy I've said my piece on the Liam game. So all the naysayers have it.
Never in doubt.
basically,
Absolutely never in doubt. There was a plan in your mind, mate.
Yeah.
there's no. Are you excited about to go in America?
Mate, I am fucking gassed. I'm so excited.
For a fake ID.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to drink. It's going to be so depressing. My opponent will be like, oh, you want a drink? And I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Surprise!
You don't stand on a street corner against
I don't look it, to be fair. I don't know if I'll be letting the venue if it's a casino.
Let's get him a loving ID.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited. The other thing, lads, is that because I got third, Liam ain't going. Brian won a golden ticket. I think he already had one. But
Yeah.
with the golden tickets from UKTC, obviously there's flights.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. So Brian, the baller that he is, was like, oh no, it's okay, I'll book myself business class. Because he goes over all the time. And so I was like, okay, so does that mean I get flights then? Because I've already booked mine. But unfortunately, the flight I booked is unrefundable. So they can't give me money because they have to get an agency to book it for me. That's like their policy or something. So I've still got to pay for my flight. It's unfortunate, but I didn't think it would be even a smidgen of a chance. So it's fine.
Yeah, it's what I'm up to, but you have to think about that.
And I mean, it's much cooler to be able to say I got my golden ticket for getting third at LGT than fifth at a 90-player major.
Yeah, 100%.
And I can feel like I really fucking earned it through that.
No,
that field.
You put in some flexes there, mate. Absolutely.
I've got to say though, I think we might have to kick you off the team because it is called Trash Wargaming. You're off the team, but
Right, we've been running for like ages because I didn't shut up. Sorry about that. Is there anything? Is there anything you guys?
You get to share your experience on the weekend and tell everyone how you felt. For the next couple of people commenting.
This was more about your last term. That's what I like an 18 ball reflex.
Put that was wrong.
So yeah, is there anything you lads want to say about your weekends?
I've got another couple of trophies and medals and shit. Like,
Oh yeah, just casually.
at this point,
You got the better colour as well, didn't you? You got the silver ones, Ben.
the silver fucking banging.
So you literally got a better medal than me, mate, and you got 2.
They're in my pants.
Oh,
What's going on with the mic? Lads, the mic is gone again.
The mic's up again.
I think no, it's all right now. It's okay.
It's after match weeks.
I think it's when we try and talk over each other.
Yeah,
I think
it's when you talk over it, just goes. It just gives up.
It's just fucking. Yeah, no, so I ended up with best sporting and second best painted. So that was second best painted is cool, but like the most sporting out of like what is it, 850 per lane, something like that.
830 is fucking awesome, man.
It's pretty good. Doesn't include golden tickets, you know. Maybe I'll trade it in.
You deserve it, mate. You're a pleasure to play against.
I'll try.
Only when he's not gloating, it's fine.
Only when beats back on.
He saves that balance to the game when you put your best foot in.
Yeah.
That's what the gloating puts out. That's what I'm doing. Shit, bloody stupid. Fuck up.
It's process. This name is submitted. Oh, fuck you,
Yeah, you got a pretty good finish with 180th or something.
Just
Banging.
disappointed in a way, but
Fucking alright, doom and gloom.
I'm happy with that. It's what I want.
No, Trash smashed it. Trash overall smashed it. Like we've as a team, we have had such a good season. Like compared to last year, we've done so fucking well.
That's because I haven't been playing much.
Down.
I've not been there at the game, that's why.
It's all making sense now. Sorry about it. To the B team. Sorry, how to be C.
It's true. It's like I've not played this year, but I'll try to play better.
You know what it is? It's because he's not going out and getting us pissed every night.
Yeah. We're staying in and deliver ruin. Just where it's at.
First time I had it was a banging shout. Yeah, it was good.
Without noodles and
It was so good that I ordered it again on the Sunday night. Yeah.
But yeah.
Great
I'm
weekend.
glad you had a good weekend. I am gutted I did this because I wasn't looking forward to it, but I just had
you, Alex, would have got.
exactly.
Ash, mate, you can't see me. I've got my hands together praying. Thank you, brother.
And the discounted ticket.
Oh,
He gave me the student rate. What a legend.
Sorry, Alex, you're asking on your ears again. Ash says.
Alex, next time I play it, can you just take it easy on me, please?
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course.
Get better dice.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing that for years now. Yeah, I've been a rapper there.
I've been there, absolutely.
Hold on.
No, I've never done. Josh has been very.
Yeah, I've been hold on, Josh. Hold on.
Anyway.
The one and only Thomas. I did it for you, Alex.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah, cheers for watching, cheers for listening, and we'll see you next time. All right then.